This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Damn, Perky.
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
What's going on, man? It is Kings and Dreams back for another video. I got a special guest in the building. It is Big Boss Real Talk, Oakland in the building, man. What is going on, Big Boss?
Nothing much, man. I want to thank you for inviting me on your platform. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from a boss to a king. Real talk.
I appreciate you, man. And it's been fun. I did interviews on Big Boss's channel and jumped on some panels. So now it's time, for him to get on the channel and my subscribers get to know him. So definitely it's going to be a good one. But before we get into it, let the people know about Big Boss. Tell them about yourself.
Okay. Well, Big Boss, if you haven't guessed by now, I'm from Oakland, California. I am an older dude. I don't look my age, but I'm an older dude. So, I do have some wisdom that came with being on this earth half of a century. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, here from Oakland, California, started my YouTube channel about 6 months ago. And in a very quick time, I amassed, I hit the threshold to become monetized with 1,000 subscribers and the watch hours and things like that. My YouTube channel is geared for men. So that pretty much makes, a manosphere type channel. But I'm going further down into red pill territory. But again, it's all things men related. So men's health, men's wellness. And of course, my travel is also channel related because I have this magical blue book called a passport, and I've been traveling for now about 4 years. I also incorporate that. So in the Big Boss Real Talk channel, Big Boss Real Talk, it's a YouTube channel for men, all things men related, men's health, men's wellness, travel related, red pill, manosphere, and I'm giving it to you from an older black male perspective.
All right, man. Before we continue, is that like a Pac-Man like underneath that? Is that like a Pac-Man?
Exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah, Oakland Pac-Man. Yeah, Pac-Man. And these are our symbol is for Oakland is normally the tree, the oak tree,
Right.
Oakland oak tree. So yeah, our symbol is the oak tree. So instead of eating power pellets, I guess it has Pac-Man trying to eat the trees, the Oakland oak trees.
Okay. Perfect. All right. So you had mentioned that your channel talks about red pill content, manosphere content, if you will, the RP. So what does the RP mean to you?
Okay. That's broad in general. Red pill overall can mean different things, different contexts. I mean, overall, it's the same meaning. Red pill, period, means an awakening. It means a realization, a new state of enlightenment from a previous state being sleep or being unaware to now your eyes are open and now you are aware of, and where we get the metaphor from the movie, The Matrix. And I like the intro that you have in most of your videos, your edited videos. You have that famous, infamous scene from the Matrix movie where Morpheus offers Neo the choice of the red pill or the blue pill, saying that the red pill is going to tell you the truth, the real actual truth. And the truth might hurt, and the truth
Right.
may sting, and the truth may be ugly, but it's the truth. Or
Right.
the blue pill, and the blue pill, you can go to sleep, and the blue pill, you can think what you want to think. However miscellaneous or however mistakenly or erroneous, you can think what you want to think with the blue pill, but the red pill is the truth. So that's the general gist of it. And so using that terminology, you can actually apply that to different areas, right? You can apply the red pill to marketing. You can apply the red pill to politics. Oh, we won't talk about that. But and also you can apply the red pill to male-female dating relationships. So however you apply the red pill phenomenon, red pill is an awakening, being aware. And so as we use it in this YouTube space in the manosphere, quote unquote, the red pill for male-female dating relationships, we are awake and we are aware to women or female nature. We are awake, we are aware of how the modern westernized society builds up the female through feminism and seeks to suppress manhood and masculinity. And we become more aware of that. Most of us know, just like the movie, just like Morpheus said, that we kind of knew in the back of our mind, we always had an inkling suspicion. But when you become red pill awake or red pill aware, it becomes glaringly obvious. So then the next point, which I'm sure you're going to get to, but I'm a talker. I'm used to having my own channel. Then that's when we come into what solutions on what to do now. Because it's one thing to show a problem and expose a problem. The next thing is the solutions or possible solutions.
Right. Exactly. So we know what the problem is. Now it's about discussing the solution. Shout out to the big boss mug right there.
Oh, shout out to the big boss mug. Yes, sir.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So again, like explaining that there's a problem and now discussing the solution. So before we get there, what would you say, like, was there a time in particular or what kind of made you become RP aware?
That's a very good question. I tried to think of that myself, months and years back, especially specifically 6 months before I started the channel.
Mm-hmm.
I really was thinking back to the origins of my red pill awakening or
Mm-hmm.
my Neo from the Matrix moment when
Mm-hmm.
I awoke to a lot of this the BS in the dating world.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say maybe going back about 10 years because that's about the time I became red pill in other areas in the world in general, politics and things of that nature, which I won't speak on. So
Mm-hmm.
very shortly after I became generally red pill aware, it wasn't too long later that I became red pilled in other facets of society. And one, how the structure is set up, basically for women. And not so much that's the problem, but mostly against men, right? So I would have to say, what was it for me? I don't know if it was one specific thing per se. It's not just an accumulation of things, just noticing patterns. Because again, it came as a byproduct of becoming red pill aware, period, of the whole world and society and our power and political structures. Once I became red pill aware of that, my eyes were open and I started seeing inconsistencies in a lot of stuff. And so I think just over the course around that time period, this my interactions, dealing with the other sex and whatnot. And at the time too, my son was still not 18. Shout out to him. He's like 23, 24 now. But I was still paying child support for him, and I was going through the system and whatnot, dealing with his mom, and then between that, being in the dating world and whatnot. I don't know. So to answer your question, man, I know I went on at length. It's not really, and it was so long ago, I can't really think of one specific turning point for the red pill in the dating world or in the male-female relationships. More so just a accumulation over time.
Right.
It just became glaringly apparent, especially after I became generally red pill aware.
Right. Yeah. No, I get it. And so I believe someone asked me this, like, was there one particular moment? And I can't remember one particular moment per se, but as I was growing up, um, I've been throwing events on parties since I was 14 years old. And as far as with women are concerned, I really started, I had a first hand with conversing with women because I have to get these women to come to the events. This is before, this is even before like MySpace. This is before Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.
So, basically,
We only had AOL and AOL Instant Messenger at that
so,
point.
so basically, the dinosaur age,
Right.
the
So yeah.
Jurassic era, right?
Right. So if we had flyers, we were posting them up, on the poles, handing them out, putting them on cars, giving them out to people. So it wasn't like, oh, like, all right, I got an event on, I could post it on Facebook, I could post it on Instagram and not have to leave my house. Rain, sleet, snow, whatever, that was it. We was outside. We had to, as they call it, get it through the mud, if you will. But so in that, engaging in conversations with women, and I really started to realize like how hypergamy is. And hypergamy really starts really at a young age.
Mm.
Like if you think about it, um I remember I was in 6th grade, and it might have started before then, but this one in particular, I was in 6th grade, and this girl, she was in 5th grade. I liked her a lot. And she was talking to the 7th grader because he was older. So you know what I mean? It was like basically like that was the only real reason, was because he was older. But the thing about it is like, now that I think about it, I realize that hypergamy really starts early. I'm not complaining about it, but I just, now that I think about it, it's like, okay, like this is how it started. Okay, so now I fast forward. I'm doing the events, doing the doing the parties, things of that sort, and I'm realizing like freshmen in high school, talking to juniors, seniors. If you're a freshman guy in high school, it's
You don't
not
exist.
likely you're gonna get a freshman girl. I mean, you can, but it's not really likely. Like your girl is typically probably like in 8th grade or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like I'm just basically trying to build the bridge on how the hypergamy starts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and then going into, as I'm getting older, so now like I'm in my college years, and um this one particular woman that I was dealing with, you know, she broke my heart, and then I just got like red pill rage, and I had red pill rage. I want to say, maybe about almost 10 years. It was that, yeah, like throughout like 10 years, and I'm trying to think about like the moment where I got the acceptance. I can't really think of the moment, but there was a point in my life when I want to say I probably was in closing on my 30s, where I said, okay, this is just how it is, and this is just how it's going to be, and you have to accept that.
Boom.
Right.
That's the full circle. That's the full circle red pill is the acceptance.
Right.
One thing that a lot of detractors say, a lot of women,
Mm-hmm.
feminists, and even white knight type male haters,
Mm-hmm.
I'll call them manginas type. They like this trope to say who hurt you. Now,
Right.
in all fairness, if we're being honest, everybody was hurt at some point in their life.
Right.
Everybody was let down at some point in their life. Everybody was disappointed at some point in their life.
Right.
But my thing is, and you know what? That might be true. I don't know the number. So I'm throwing a number off the side of my neck maybe it could be half, it could be 40 to 60% or more that half or majority of guys in the red pill space came through an acute, specific moment of hurt and pain. I'm sure that's the case, but I'm here to say I don't think that's the case 100%. Some people can become red pill aware kind of without the rage per se, and without one specific event, just over accumulation of time. Once you become aware of stuff, and you really just take it in, it's like the movie that a lot of people in the conspiracy world use. Again, going back to red pill can be used in different facets. One R.I.P. Roddy Piper with They Live, the sci-fi movie where you put on the shades and it shows you expose the reality of society. Sometimes it can kind of just be like that. You're living your life, like Morpheus said, something is wrong and an itching in the back of your head. You're living your life, and over time, you become red pill. So it's not like one acute moment that slaps you in the face.
Right.
Like one acute moment slaps you in the face, breaks your heart, makes you consider suicide, eat the gun, jumping off the building, rage, whatever. No, it could just be over time, you notice the patterns. And then as you start to learn and increase, and you become red pill in other areas, and now you're seeing the code, if you will, like Matrix. You start seeing the code. You start seeing how the code is stacked against you.
Right.
So I just push back. What I'm saying is blah blah blah. I push back on the trope that every red pilled man is red pilled because he was hurt. Like, who hurt you? Who hurt you? You're only like that because some chick hurt you.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, everybody's been hurt in one shape, form, or fashion, but that doesn't necessarily mean I became red pill because the one chick dumped me and broke my heart, and after that, now I'm all of a sudden red pill. No.
Right. No. When you were talking about different facets of how you got red pill, you mentioned like in politics, you mentioned in finances, things of that sort, right? So I completely agree with you. People can get, like, let's just say for an example, a friend of yours or a supposed friend of yours comes to you with a business deal, and they say, hey, big boss, we're gonna make X amount of dollars, but I need, $3,000, right? So this is your friend. This is someone you trust, and that $3,000, maybe let's just say that's like, 2 months rent or something like that. But this person's convinced you to bet on them. You invested that money and trust in them. You end up getting, you end up losing out. The business deal falls through, right? And you're upset at your friend, but you're more upset at yourself, and you're taking that accountability because you say, you know what, big boss messed up because I should not have put myself in that position to lose, because now I can't pay my rent for 2 months. I have nowhere to go. That can make you financially RP aware now.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So there's different ways of being RP aware. Mine, I will say, like, it probably had to do with I mentioned the woman, and also had to do with finances too, because I would give my friends, people who I thought that were friends, because I was hanging out with a lot of people, back then when I was younger, big circle of friends, supposed friends, and I would give them anything that they needed. People turn their back on me, and now I know it's like, now I surround myself with like a wolf pack. I have a lot of, I have associates and things like that, but in my inner circle, that's my wolf pack. So that made me red pill aware. So it's different facets of your life as men, and I think that what gets popularized is the woman aspect, and the The reason why is because, no offense, ladies, but ladies, you guys are emotional. So when you guys hear something that you're not used to hearing when we're being direct, because the daytime television show doesn't hold you accountable for your behavior, and we hold you accountable for your behavior, it's like almost like a verbal like slap in the face.
Whoosh.
Right. So it's like that, and then they feel some type of way, and then that's when you get the cancel culture and things of that sort.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we see that now in vivid display on the
Mhm.
Kevin Samuels show. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. We
Right.
see that when he talks to the ladies night after night, and he talks to them direct. Uh, and he just gives them, real talk, straight talk. And
Mhm.
we see how, especially in the early days, right? Well, the early days of him interacting with the women since the average at best, how they
Mhm.
used to take it. I would say nowadays, uh his lady callers don't well, I haven't really watched a lot of his stuff all the way through like recently like I
Mhm.
used to, especially since I started my own channel. But
Right.
from what I can tell, the ladies tend to act a little bit better when they call in, and I don't know if because he's really making a big difference per se, or they just learning like, okay, we can't play with this guy. He'll climb me and
Right.
hang up on me. But
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely gotten better, and I believe that the women, they're still modern women, but they're more polite.
hmm,
They're not being rude, but Kevin will tell them what, like, if they're saying something like outlandish. One particular, I want to say this was maybe about a week or two ago.
okay,
This woman was talking about how she wanted a high value man, and she said that she was an entrepreneur.
okay.
Kevin didn't ask what she did, so maybe for about like the first like five, maybe about the first 5 to 10 minutes, she just kept going on, and there was a gentleman there, and so you heard that like Kevin asked if she had a boyfriend. She said, "I don't have a boyfriend." There was some guy there, and he said, "Yes, you do have a boyfriend." I don't know if that was the dude that she was with, but it seemed awkward. Like it seemed like that dude was her boyfriend or knows the dude who she was dealing with. It just seemed kind of like it just seemed awkward, right? Anyway, to find out that this woman, she was probably like 36 years old. She was an exotic dancer.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with an exotic dancer, but if you are if you are pushing if you're pushing 40 as a woman, being an exotic dancer, there's not really, and you're looking for a high value man. So for the people who don't understand what a high value man is any man that is making 120,000 or more for at least 3 years or more, and has a network of people who are making that much or similar to that amount. So not just like a rapper who's just making like, you know, like 3-4 million a year, and he has to take care of all of his people. Because no, that's not what I'm talking about. Talking about like someone who is typically either in STEM, finance, things like that, and they have that network around them, right? So anyway, so she's talking about that, and Kevin was just saying like this, like you're not gonna really be able to find a high value man, because dancing, um, if you quit dancing, like how is he going? Like what are you gonna do to take care of yourself? And the man is not going to want a 36-year-old. Why can't he just go find a woman that's 23, 24? Now, another thing that's going to sting, the thing about it is that men, we value looks more than women do.
Right.
So when it comes to a man that's 36 and a woman that's 36, there's a difference. If you realize most relationships, the man is typically older than the woman. There's always going to be some outliers. I know I'm going to hear that. But if you look at most relationships, The man is typically older than the woman. Yes, like I know that there are some famous people now, and the women are older than the man. But you also got to think those women probably got a lot of cosmetic work done. That's why they still look young.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
Oh, I know
so
you was going on your point, but real fast,
yeah,
like
no worries, man.
so it's one thing where like you were saying when you were in grade school, when you were in the sixth grade, and
Hmm.
you really was fond of the fifth grade girl, but she
Hmm.
wanted the seventh grader, and
Right.
you were saying like in high school the ninth grade freshman dudes, uh, because high school is normally 9 to 12,
Hmm.
the ninth grade freshman dudes normally can't even get a ninth grade girl on his level, let alone a higher girl. So the
Hmm.
ninth grader guy has to get an eighth grade girl type of deal. So
Right.
it works from the foundation, the ground up from grade school and in elementary and high school where the women like older men.
Hmm.
But once, fast forward 15, 20 years when we're 30ish or whatnot, now that same thing, the women, I'm saying, they don't like that. Now they don't like that the man wants a younger woman. But hey,
Right.
but when they were in school, they wanted the older man. So
Right.
I'm saying, you see how that works against each
Right.
other, consistency, that hypocrisy.
Yes, absolutely. 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 Yeah. And if you were a star athlete like shout out to Flyboy, we were able to get, upper class woman because we play sports. But if
That's
we
what's up.
didn't, if we did it, oh no. Right. So we had that leverage. Like, but the thing about it is, right, if you look at it, right, like we were
social,
considered at that point high value.
social proof. So
Right.
even in high school, which is a microcosm of society, because at
Hmm.
one point we all grown high school people with high
Right.
school traumas and memories back in the day.
Hmm.
But you and Flyboy Way were social proof, social status, because you're an athlete, you're student athletes. If you
Right.
was not a student athlete, if you was a regular Joe, there's nothing wrong with it. If you was a regular good student, an A
Hmm.
student, a B student, a regular student that went to school, did your job, you went to school, regular student, you wouldn't have that success. But you was a student athlete, so now you have social status. So you
Hmm.
see, even in the high school realm, it's basically the same thing. It's like a microcosm of our general society.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great way of explaining that. Great way of explaining that. So I wanted to ask you now, with hypergamy. Now, how do you feel about hypergamy? And I'll start there. How do you feel about hypergamy?
Um, you know what? Being that I'm on this side of red pill aware,
Hmm.
um, I'm well into the acceptance phase.
Hmm.
And being that I'm this old, I'm half of 100, that I realize, a lot of it is just pure nature, right?
Hmm.
It's by design, it's by our creator, it's by the universe, it's by nature. So I do understand it, and a lot of it is rooted in is because the woman typically is the caregiver to a child, to a young infant child, a defenseless
Hmm.
child. So she has to make sure that her offspring or her brood is protected and secure. So to do that, she needs the biggest, strongest, fastest, or productive, or the most X, whatever,
Hmm.
uh, to help secure the safety for her and her seed. So, from an
Hmm.
evolutionary point, I understand that. Now, to be honest and be real, I still find it distasteful. I do. I'm not gonna lie. I find it personally distasteful. Uh, I don't think I really feel a way anymore. I
Hmm.
mean, I file it in the back of my mind, but so it's one of those unfortunate things that I guess society needs, nature needs, a woman, and mostly because the woman is the primary caretaker for the infant, for the child. She
Hmm.
must secure resources for extra resources for her offspring. But what we find, and you know, so here's the thing. So I guess because of that, and that's maybe the intended purpose through evolution in her mind. But we also see, say if she don't even have a child, if it's just her, she still has that same mind frame, but I guess it's rooted in the DNA. So hypergamy, man, hypergamy, it is what it is, man. Women are hypergamous. Shout out to some of the red pill manosphere guys I came up under, the Sandman, Turd Flinging Monkey, and the others. They just called it monkey branching. Yeah, because a woman hypergamous, she'll just always just go for the best, go for the best, even no matter what she already has. If a woman, a woman tends to always think. A woman typically thinks that the grass is greener on the other side, even more so than men. Now, I know that sounds strange, but you know, men can be more content, believe it or not, than a woman can sometimes.
Absolutely.
A man could be content. Give him his space, give him his man cave, give him XYZ. A man could be content. A woman always is looking for the next best thing, next best thing since ice cream, and marketing even plays into that. That's why you get new versions of iPhones every 6 months or every year. That's why you get the new this and the new and improved that for shopping. You know, totally kind of unrelated, but even marketing and advertisement, they understand that. And that's why it's geared towards women who are bigger shoppers. Because why? Women always want the shiniest, best new thing. And that even includes their man. They would trade in the man they got for the hope of something better.
I completely agree. One of the things I disagree with you about, because you said that it's different, and no, it ties into it, because the thing is, right, like how you mentioned the new iPhone, the new Galaxy, the new whatever it is, new jewelry, new something. Something's always new, something's always shiny, and then it gets into their psyche, and it's like, well, you know what? I've had this man I've been dealing with for like 2 years, and then I have this other man, he likes me, and he's got the new Audi, he's got the new Bench truck, he's got the new whatever it is, the new something, right? And you want that, but the man who has, let's say the man who has the Toyota Camry, and that's not that's not taking anything away from anybody who has a Toyota Camry. I've had a Toyota Camry. So, but what I'm saying is, the man who has a Toyota Camry, he makes sure that the bills are paid, make sure that there's food in the house, he gives you attention, uh takes you out on vacation. May not be 5-star, but still takes you out on vacation. He's doing everything within his power to make sure that you're taken care of. But like what you said, right? You're looking over like, okay, let me right. Like, what is better here? And it's like, wow. And then like that's the part of hypergamy. That's the part of hypergamy where like I accept it, but it's like, oh, like, come on. Another thing is that where it is like, if a woman has a child and still thinks that she can be as hypergamous as a woman who doesn't, that right there is like, that right there. And especially, like, I can't stand when I hear like, oh, it takes like a real man to step up to the plate. Like, no, like, no, that's not fair. That's not fair, because the thing about it
That's
is,
shaming tactics.
right? Yeah, it's definitely shaming, because like, now if that man so chooses to take care of you and the child or children you have, great. But you should definitely be thankful to that man, because that's two other mouths he has to feed. And I know maybe the woman may have a job too, but also he's still pulling in his resources to help those one or two children eat, regardless whether that woman has a good job or not. Because unless that woman is paying all of the bills, which I highly doubt that she would be doing that, whatever he's bringing in is still helping putting food in those kids' mouths.
Right.
So I'm of the belief that men should not date women who have children. Now, like if you have one child, cool. But if you're a dude like who has like a whole bunch of children, like yeah, you're gonna have to date a woman like who has children. You
Hmm.
know. But like if you got like one child, okay. But if you got like 4 or 5 that's just running around and you expect to date a woman who doesn't have children, I mean you could probably get away with that, but not really. You might wanna you're gonna have to settle for a woman who does have, children and have that blended family. So right.
That's how we all became the Brady Bunch. I know you too young for that. I'm half of 100. So
Right, right. No, absolutely, absolutely, man. Just the hypergamy, but moving forward from that, um, now you flashed your passport. So, I know that your channel talks about men traveling. So, what are some of the places that you've been to, and what are some of the things that, like, what prompted you to get your passport? Let's start there.
um DR Sasua. That's what prompted me. In the truest sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
DR Sasua through YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
DR Sasua through YouTube after my first long trip out of California years ago was to Florida. Uh,
Okay.
Prior to that, I haven't really left. I think I left California once or twice,
Oh
uh,
wow.
and only went as far as like Nevada and Colorado
Oh wow.
when I was a kid. In my adult years, I haven't left California, but years and years ago, I went to Florida to see a buddy of mine, an ex coworker who was in the music game, a DJ or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I used to work with him in San Francisco, and he moved to Florida to to further his career, and he got kind of situated. So I went out there to check him out and to check out the Florida scene, the Miami, Fort Lauderdale. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the first time I've been on a plane like for 5 or 6 hours going across country.
Yeah.
And so while I was out there, that environment was similar to Cali, California, but even a little more tropical, more hotter and whatnot. All the palm trees, and
The
I'm seeing
humidity.
yeah, the humidity. I wasn't used to humidity, and I'm seeing all the different the people out there. So I'm coming across a lot of Cubans, a lot of Haitians, some Dominicans, out there, and it was a whole different vibe. Even though it's continental U.S., it's Florida, it almost had like an island vibe almost.
Right.
But
Yeah.
then flying back, they kept announcing we have direct flights to Dominican Republic, and so just on a whim, when I got back, I started YouTubing DR, and I said, "What? It's legal out there? It
Oh yeah.
it being whatever it is." I said, "It's legal out there? What?"
Yeah.
And a woman
Yeah.
looked like this, man.
Yeah. So we're
I
talking.
went right to YouTube.
We're talking about daycare workers.
Yes,
We're talking about daycare workers, pay for play. Yep.
yeah, daycare workers.
Yep.
I said, "It's legal?" I said, "What?" So man, I just from that point on, I did YouTube. I YouTube DR so much, man. And so basically I realized to get over there I needed a passport.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately went to go get a passport, and within months I got my passport. So that's what prompted me, to be honest. That was prompted me.
Mm-hmm.
And this was 2018. Well, it was 2017 when I was going through this, and I
Mm-hmm.
got my passport around March, April 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And funny, I did that big push to hurry to get my passport, but I didn't take my first trip till months later. I got my passport around March or April, and I didn't take my first international trip till that October, around my birthday time. And of
Okay.
course, my first overseas trip was where? DR Sasua. So that's what prompted me. And since then, in these 4 years, I've been to 5 countries in 4 years.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So list them out. Let's get to that.
Okay, well, like I say, for Halloween, October Halloweenish 2018, I did DR Sasua. A few months later, I went back for Super Bowl. I didn't know that they like our American football Super Bowl is kind of like a kicking it, turn up lit time down there. So a few months later in February, I went back to Sasua. A few months later after that, I went to Medellin, Colombia, and then back to Sasua. Then I went to Thailand, and then after Thailand, I went to Brazil, and then back to DR, and back to Brazil. So all these 5 countries, I've been to the Dominican Republic 4 times. I've been to Colombia 3 times. I've been to Brazil 4 times, but I only been to Thailand once because that's a far trip. And then
Right.
then also we know what happened in 2020 in regards to the whole pandemic. I have not been able to go back. And before you ask, out of those 5 countries or whatnot, the best one for me so far was Thailand.
Wow. So you went to this country one time and you went to these other countries multiple times. So the one time, okay. All right. Hey,
Shout out to Richie Mack, Zoom to Thailand.
yes,
I just threw
definitely.
that in
Shout
there
out.
for no reason.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You dig? That's
You
what he always
did.
say,
We
right?
travel OG.
Right. Exactly, man. Shout out to Richie Mack, man. Definitely, man. We gotta get you on a video, an interview, Richie Mack. Telling you, man. I'm telling you, we got to make that happen soon, man. All
It's
right,
gonna.
man. But shout out to
I'll tell
you.
you that it's gonna happen. So I was actually messaging Richie Mack
Hmm.
before I came on. We were talking about something else, and I
Hmm.
told him I was coming on. I told him I was coming on your show,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go ahead. So you see, this is him,
Yep.
Richie Mack, and then
Yeah.
I think it's right. This message right here. He
Uh,
said, "Have fun with kings and dreams."
yeah. Hold on. We got to move it back a little bit.
Oh, okay. I can see it, but
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Well, it might show up. So right
Yeah.
there,
That's cool.
have fun with Kings and Dreams, Richie Mack.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Definitely shout out to Zoom to Thailand, man. Blowing up, man.
man.
And we all as black men getting a little sidetracked here, but I'll get back to our conversation. But we all as black men, it's very good to see us traveling and us creating content. And some of the content is just strictly about the ladies. Some of the content is about education. Some of the content is about instilling men's confidence to actually travel. But nonetheless, like, we're basically saying that you don't have to be stagnant in the United States. You can actually travel. You can see the world. If you you know if you if you want to if you want to go there for daycare workers, if you want to go there for culture, if you want to go there to invest, if you want to go there for whatever the reason is that don't just sit on your ass and not do something about it. Get that passport and go. You know,
Absolutely.
and we all pushing each other. So that's great to see. You know, so back to Thailand. So your number one, right now. Um, what was it about Thailand like that made you say, okay, this is like the number one thing?
I would have to say for the reason I travel for the daycare worker scene,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the reason. But
Mm-hmm.
also, I would also have to add to that is say if that wasn't the reason,
Mm-hmm.
Thailand has so much stuff you can do. So
Mm-hmm.
for the travelers who like to go for culture and sites, man, they have all kind of little islands that you can just hop on a boat for cheap and just ride out to a little island. You know, you can have your beers, your drink on the boat. Then you get to the island and you're out there partying on the island and walking around on the little islands. They have so much like kind of strange, weird fauna that just like looks amazing. They have we can go get on top and ride elephants. You can go to the tiger park where they got these big old tigers. You can pet the tigers and whatnot. They got these immaculate temples, you know, you can go to. They have so much stuff. It's just like it's mind blowing. On top of all the daycare workers, I mean, and as being from my perspective as a black man, many of the Thai women, they was just in love with, you know, with black guys, with black culture, with rap hip hop culture, you know, coming you singing rap songs, rubbing on your skin, this all into you. So I mean, that whole everything was like this, like wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, man. So you said tigers like on the beach?
Oh no, I wish. Oh no. Yeah, so for the Tigers, I might have said it all together because like
I was just like, hold up, like
that's how Thailand is. It's just like so much, right? But
yeah.
So for the Tigers, you have to go to the tiger parks. They have specific tiger parks. You go to the tiger parks, or you can go to where they have the elephants and ride the elephants.
Yeah.
Everything is in its own section. You go up to the mountains and hills to see the temples, get on the boats to go over to the islands. They have so much, man. It's really like it's like a male adult playground, Disneyland, Disney World. It's like amazing, bro. It's amazing. They have so much.
Okay. That sounds great. I just wanted to clarify the Tigers.
Oh yeah, they're not on the beach. They're not walking on the beach. Oh
yeah, I was like, hold up. Yeah, I was like, you could go. Yeah, because I know like I know that's a place that Flyboy and I were talking about going, and I'm like, all right, Fly, you could go to that beach if there's tigers walking around. I'm all good with that.
Nah,
but yeah, so
I guess
basically,
the tigers I guess they will be in the jungle area because you know, some parts of it is we're not like Pattaya, like the party places we go. But, you know, for the whole country, you know, it's over there, you know, borders Vietnam and all that kind of stuff. The Southeast Asia jungle. So yeah, they have jungle areas in them jungle. Yeah, they got tigers in them jungles. You know, but they capture them and put them in parks. Yeah.
Okay.
But Pattaya is like by a beach. It's by a beach area.
Okay. Yeah. So tell me about Pattaya. I mean, I'm gonna ask Richie. You know, but you know, from you, well, what did you see from your perspective?
Okay. Like I said, when you talk of Pattaya, man, just the term of Pattaya itself, you got to get ready for some raunchy talk because that's basically what Pattaya is. Now, Pattaya is not all of Thailand. Thailand have other cities and other facets. But when you're talking about Pattaya, you're talking about adult type stuff. So, you know, not to be so explicit on your channel or whatnot.
No, you good?
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about the ladies in the nightlife or the nightlife and the ladies. The two go together, right? String a bar. Now, unfortunately, though, and I've been hearing this from guys on the ground, guys in my travel group who went like recently, like recent. Unfortunately, it is a shell of its former self. So even if I was to go there right now today, hop on the plane and go there right now today, or if I was already over there doing this live stream with you over there, it is not the same now as it was pre-pandemic. In 2019 when I went, a lot of it is shut down, especially Pattaya. Bangkok is is probably only 70% diminished from where it was. Bangkok being the capital city, and you fly into Bangkok. A lot of guys, you fly into Bangkok and you catch a bus or so down to Pattaya. Bangkok is a big city, so it's diminished somewhat. But Pattaya, being a smaller beach town, set up for the nightlife, Pattaya took a big hit. It is less than 50%, less than 60%. It is a shell of its former self. And you almost have to kind of know people, locals, and expats who live there to know where the spots to go. So that's a shame. So even someone going now, you wouldn't get the same experience. But I would say this: it was so off the hook that even its former self now can still hold its own against other heavyweights, even in its diminished state.
Okay.
So, but yeah, you won't get the full experience, unfortunately.
Now, 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 like when things open back up, like, do you know if it's expected to get back to its former self, or do you think that it won't be its former self? And I know that's probably a question that you may not necessarily have
Exactly.
the answer to.
Yeah, I really don't. But only the best thing I could do is give my little 5 cent opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, and this might be a little bad news. I don't see how it could be. From what I understand, some of the places are gone and gone forever. I'm also hearing things. I'm connected to these travel groups, and some guys are really tapped in and plugged in down there. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hearing that the local government, has had plans already to kind of clean up some of the red light and not so much make it family friendly, but make it more resorty, more business area and things like that. So
Okay.
that kind of played into it. So I'm thinking, my opinion, it won't get back 100% like it was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also hearing that though, ray of hope. Other areas in Pattaya, the action is being moved over. Other places are being developed. So when things open back up, because it's still money to be made at the end of the day,
Right.
things will greatly improve. But I'm of the opinion, I doubt if it'll ever get back to its heyday. But
Mm.
again, it is so off the hook, so extreme. Really, is like it's overboard. Really, after everything opens up and they get it fully functioning to whatever level, even if it's like 60% of what it was, that 50-60% will probably still be better than a lot of other places.
Right.
The main thing that makes it right are the people, and the culture. Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
need the nightclubs, you need the bars, you need the establishment, but that don't mean nothing. You don't have the people, and the
Right.
people are still there. The
Right.
individual people are still there. People, mostly men and women, are still there. They still like black folks. They still like rap music. So once they open up in any kind of consistent form, and whatever it is, open
Mm.
up and flesh out. And once that happens and we can go, man, the rest is going to figure itself out. So it's still going to
Right.
be lit.
So you mentioned like the nightlife and the daycare workers in Pattaya. Now, let's say like if a man just wanted to establish a relationship with a non
Non-pro.
daycare worker, not a pay for play and not a GFE. For those who don't know, that means a girlfriend experience. So, what like can someone actually do that, or would you say Pattaya doesn't really seem like the city in Thailand to do that?
Well, I would say my first response to that is I am not well enough informed to really answer that. I only
Mhm.
been one time and I
Right,
stayed for
right,
about 5 days. From that little bit of experience, what I saw, that whole little area, that fishbowl area of Walk Street, Pattaya,
right.
is a
Hmm.
nightlife red light district. Now,
Mm,
but remember, like any countries are bigger than one city and bigger
right.
than one spot in the city. So maybe once you expand out of that little red light district,
Hmm.
I'm sure there's a lot of options available because again, it's a whole country. And obviously, you have expat type guys who retire and live there, and guys who are there for 6 months or a year at a time. They have relationships, they have girlfriends. Again, shout out to Richie Mack and his
Hmm.
noodle L. So it is very possible. Now, my thing is though, my only my only thing I would add in there is because I know that's the thing because not everybody's on the same page. I get it, but guys trying to go to a red light to look for a wife. Sometimes you don't make a hoe into a housewife. Okay,
Right, right, right.
so
Yep.
so fine. If that's what you want, fine. There's other avenues for that. They have websites for that. or when you go, or maybe in Bangkok, or maybe in Pattaya, maybe more on the outskirts in a rural area, or in the regular business areas of Pattaya.
Right.
But to go in the middle of the epicenter of Walking Street, right in the middle of Walking Street, trying to find a wife, that's not the best thing to do.
Right,
So
exactly.
a lot of guys, they want to go to a red light district and find a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yes.
That doesn't. That doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, you
exactly.
Can't, absolutely. Yeah, you can't. You can't walk in the jungle and not expect to get like stung or bit by something, right? You know.
Right.
So.
You're gonna go right in the middle of the most biggest red light district in the world to find a wife.
Right.
So, enjoy it for what it is. And if that's what you're looking for, yes, it's there on the outskirts. Yes, it's there in other means, in other areas, in other cities, in other ways. And be there for a while, because something serious is something serious. If it's serious to you, then you're going to invest time. You're not going to be there. You're not going to be there for 4 or 5 days trying to find a wife in 4 days.
No.
You're going to be
trying to get active.
Right. You're going to be
Shout out to MTR.
Right.
Yep.
You're going to be there for a few months. You're going to be expat. You're going to be living there, and you're going to get to know the people. You're going to get to hang out and meet locals and ask around and be shown different. So yeah, there's a way how you do things. So yeah, absolutely. If you're willing to put in the time and willing to do the work, absolutely. But if you're there for a few days, you're there for 1 week, and you go right to Pattaya, just enjoy it for what it is.
Right. Okay. Perfect. All right. Another place that you've been, I think you said 4 times, was Brazil. I have not had the liberty to go to Brazil, so I was supposed to go to Salvador Bahia for the carnival. I was supposed to go with Flyboy, and that carnival got postponed. And then there was supposed to be one in Rio de Janeiro. That got I don't know if it got postponed or canceled. I think that one got postponed, and then the one in Rio got postponed. Actually, I think Salvador Bahia. I don't even think it got postponed. I think it just got canceled. But long story short, we were supposed to go at the end of February. We ended up not going. You've been to Brazil 4 times. I'm a little bit envious. Talk to us.
Man, Brazil is right under Thailand. Woo! Right under.
Wow.
And in some places, it's weird. It's weird because in some ways it actually surpasses it or under. So I don't know. So because Brazil actually has some other things going for it. The biggest would be its acceptance of, in large part, of Black people, right? Because there is a very high concentration of Black Brazilians there. It is said that Brazil has more Black people than any other country outside of the Africa continent. So you have Africa, then you got Brazil. Yep. There's more Blacks in Brazil than in America. Like, wow. And so many of the, not all, I have to say, not all, right? There is whatever, not all, but many of the Brazilian people, especially Brazilian women, they love and like Black people. They Black heritage. They like themselves. They're in tune. They are aware of their heritage. They know that they originally come from Africa, and it was a big slave trade. Unfortunately, it was a big slave trade in Brazil that got a lot of Africans in Brazil and the intermixing. They know their history. They know their culture. They know their roots. A lot of them, they embrace it. And so when they see other Blacks, they embrace you. So that by itself, that's lit, man. That is very lit. That is very dope. And I love that aspect. And because men are visual, right? Because all that intermixing, man. So you're talking about Black Africans mixing with Portuguese and everything else, and Argentina. Man, you get the whole spectrum. Yes, Boss is a colorist. Man, you get the light skin, you get the golden skin, you get the curly hair with green eyes and gray eyes and good facial structure features, and light skin and honey skin and curly hair with the Brazilian tan lines. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that you mentioned, right? Like you said that they're they're in touch with the African roots, right? So what place in Brazil did you get like that feeling from the most?
Well, unfortunately, I only been to two places in Brazil
Okay.
anyway. So I only been to the Rio Copacabana, and I've been to Sao Paulo. Now, the place that is very Afrocentric in Brazil, it's a place that you almost end up going to. It's the Salvador Bahia, and I
Hmm.
want to make my way down there. I think on my third trip, I was supposed to go to Salvador. We never made it. We never made it down to Salvador Bahia, but yeah, in Salvador Bahia is where a lot of Afro Brazilians are. I didn't make it down there, so I just mostly been in Rio Copacabana and in Sao Paulo. So more so in Rio, or they pronounce it Hio. Their R's are like an H. They call it Hio. Um, yeah, just there in Rio or Hio, that's where I encountered a lot of the Brazilians, the browner skin,
Hmm.
the honey skin, cocoa skin Brazilians who really embrace their blackness. Matter of fact, they have a dope club in Rio Copacabana up near towards going up towards the Lapa Steps. And those who know the Lapa Steps are where Snoop Dogg and Pharrell made that video. Beautiful. That's
Yeah.
Lapa. That's Lapa. The Lapa Steps. Not too far in that area, in the Lapa area, they have a dope club called Casa Black. And Casa Black, just like how it sounds, it's a dope vibe type neo soul Brazilian club where a lot of the black Brazilians go. So it's a lot of things about that Brazilian black culture that's just dope, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. That sounds great. What about Sao Paulo? What would you say about that?
Yeah, Sao Paulo. I saw them on 4 times so far. I've been to Sao Paulo 2 times, and Sao Paulo is a big city where you have Rio Copacabana is obviously a city, right?
Hmm.
The city
Hmm.
right there on the beach, whatnot. But Sao Paulo is an inner city. It's inland. It's a big giant mega city. They say Sao Paulo has more population than New York, right? It's a
Yeah.
big mega city, and
Wow.
in that city, you have a mixture. Because like any city, you have a mixture of everything, and you even have, curious enough, you have a lot of Asian Brazilians, and specifically Japanese Brazilians. So
Really?
yeah, that mixture is a trip, man. Shout out to Aaron Ferris. Aaron Ferris of Black Men Travel. Yeah,
Hmm.
he was talking to a few. So yeah, that Sao Paulo is something else. It's a whole different beast, a whole different monster. I need more time to really unpack it because it's a big city, and when you go, so it's not really touristy per se, right? But when you go there, you're actually mostly going there for the day care nurseries themselves. There are many houses, Spanish for house is a casa, right? There are
Hmm.
many casas, many houses, many daycare centers in Sao Paulo. Since it's not the beach, they have many daycare houses there. And so that's one of the bigger things that you're gonna do. But also because it's a big city that caters to a big city, they have like 1,000,001 bars. Not a whole lot of big nightclubs. They do have some nightclubs, but
Hmm.
instead of the nightclubs, they have like 1,000,001 bars. And in the bars, they have the ladies there. They have ladies that work in the bars. They have rooms there where you can rest. You can rest in the rooms at these bars, or the ladies,
Really, like rest. So
yeah,
like so like
in the bar. No,
if you got like so if you taking too many shots and you're like, hey, I need to lay down. Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah, okay. Trying to keep it clean. Yeah. So I didn't really mean that kind of rest.
Oh,
I was
okay. I got you. I got
Thank
you.
you. I'm trying to use
Yeah,
the
yeah,
good
yeah,
word. No,
yeah.
no, no.
You resting with company. Understood. Understood. Got you. Okay.
Short for a short time. A very, very, yeah. You're resting for like 30 minutes.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So like, all right.
In
So
a
like,
bar, a regular bar, right?
wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And because it's a big city of like millions and millions of people, they have all these. It's almost like a public service, like right. They have all these things scattered all throughout the city where you can definitely just get it in on a Tuesday any kind of way, man. It's just wow. Brazil is just off the
Yeah.
chain, man.
Yeah. Nice, man. Nice. 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 Man, I gotta make it to Brazil. Gotta
Gotta
make
make
it
it.
to
Yeah,
Brazil.
you can't go wrong in Sao Paulo. Only thing in Sao Paulo, again, you won't have a lot of the sites. So you obviously you won't have the Christ Redeemer. You won't have the Sugarloaf Mountain with the cable thing. You're not going to have the Lapa Steps. You're not going to have all those nice beaches. But what you lose in that, it's a big city. What they do have, they and I haven't been yet. Next time I go, I plan to in Sao Paulo. They actually have some kind of African Heritage Museum where it really breaks down the African experience in Brazil, and that's in Sao Paulo. And I haven't been because every time I go, I get caught up by going to the daycare houses.
I got you.
Yeah.
You had to go to the daycare center. Understood.
One because I don't be there a long time because not to cut you off because normally when I go to Brazil and most of my time is going to be in Rio, right?
Yeah.
And so I might do a week, 7 to 10 days in Rio and do 2 or 3 days in Sao Paulo. So I need to increase the Sao Paulo time because it's not a lot. It's not a lot to do outside of the daycare. I don't really spend a lot of time in Sao Paulo. I go to Sao Paulo for like 2 or 3 days. And in 2 or 3 days, you don't really, that's not a lot of time.
Right.
So next time I need to kind of manage my time better on my future Brazil trips from Rio, Copacabana to Sao Paulo.
All right. So now for you, like, do you fly into Rio first or do you fly into Sao Paulo and then go to Rio?
Yeah, so like a lot of these countries, very similar, especially compared to Colombia, they have a lot of cheap in-country flights that you can get for $60, $70. Sometimes I've seen them as low as like $30, $40. And so on my first trip to Brazil ever, I did what everybody else do. I flew into Rio, Copacabana, and Rio Airport International is GIG. Longer name, but the code is GI. Everybody flies in the Rio GIG, and that's about half hour north Copacabana. You fly in the GIG, you take a taxi or Uber down to Copacabana. But in subsequent trips, instead of flying into Rio GIG, even if I'm going to Rio, I fly into Sao Paulo GRU. It's a cheaper flight to fly into Sao Paulo. So much so, you can save so much money, like half your trip, by flying into GRU Sao Paulo and an in-country flight from Sao Paulo to Rio and still be half of the trip. So, like I say, on my very first trip to Rio, it was almost, it wasn't like $1,000. It was almost $900. It was like, I think it was 850 or $900, right? My next trip, when I went to Sao Paulo, it was less than $500. But no, it was $540. So you're talking about almost $900 to $540.
Oh wow!
And then a $50 flight over. So even adding that in, so now you're looking at like maybe $600 versus the $900.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you're saving $300 or more dollars. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
And it depends on your hours. It depends on the season, right? Some seasons, any travelers know some seasons it costs more, it costs less. And then also far in advance you book it. If you book it like 2-3 months out, it's cheaper. If you book it like 1 week before, it costs more, right? So there's and then certain websites you use. So there's certain ways to bring it down, if you strategize right. If you book it far in advance, if you use certain sites, depending on what time you go, that you can probably get that ticket, for low.
Right. Absolutely, man. All right. So so now, like, flying to whether it be Rio or Sao Paulo, how long is the flight typically?
Okay, well, again, that's going to be from where you're flying from in America, right? Whether you're flying from California, flying
No, no,
from
no,
New
no,
York.
no. So sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I meant in country.
Oh, in country, in country.
Yeah, I should have
Oh,
specified that. Sorry about that.
okay, it's all good. It's all good. 1 hour.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
1 hour flight. 1 hour flight or a 6 hour drive. So if you want to take a bus, private taxi, go overland, it's about 5 to 6 hours. A flight, 1 hour.
No, I gotta do the flight. I gotta do the flight. Like,
You're right. Yeah,
yeah,
it doesn't make sense.
yeah.
Especially on a trip, everything matters. All time matters when you're on a trip.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. When you're on a trip, you're trying to, you're trying to do it. You're trying to see and do everything, especially like when I travel flyboy, like you travel with flyboy, like like he wants to see, he wants to do like excursions, see things, and me too. I want to see and do stuff, Then later on, you go out to the club or bar, whatever, But the thing is, like you doing so much, like a 6 hour trip, like that's gonna be a hindrance.
That's
No,
gonna eat. It's gonna eat
I'd
into your
rather
time.
pay, $50, whatever it is, for a flight. And is that round trip or is that just one way?
No, it's good. Nah, that wouldn't be round trip. Most of the time. Well, you know what? Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes you might can get a round trip for like 70-ish. It depends on the booking, on the time of, and things like that. The
Right.
timing.
Yeah, but yeah, 70 bucks,
A round trip.
anyway, yeah. So a little under $100 is not that big of a deal. Yeah,
Right.
so I'd rather do that than do the 6 hour trip.
Right.
All right. So before I close out on Brazil, so you're saying, like, as far as like the sites, Rio was probably better to see the sites, but Sao Paulo does have that African museum, right?
Yeah. Sao
Okay.
Paulo has an African museum,
Hmm.
and it has its own nightlife, so to speak. And the
Okay.
nightlife might not be on par as big nightclub, big dance hall, discotheque
Hmm.
nightclubs like
Hmm. Hmm.
Rio, but it's peppered with a lot of like bars with the music and a little
Hmm.
dance floor and the little rooms.
Mm.
Yeah. And
Gotcha.
of course the daycare nurseries all
Right.
throughout,
Right.
just scattered all throughout the city to
Yeah.
service the men of the city.
Gotcha.
It's a
Now,
beautiful city.
now with Rio, what are some of like the favorite locations in Rio?
So everyone, pretty much always goes to Mabs. So Mabs, you hear a lot about Mabs, and you would actually think Mabs is a club or a discotheque.
Math,
Mabs,
like math?
no Mabs, MAB,
Oh,
Mab.
Mab.
Yeah, Mab, MAB apostrophe S. So
Oh,
Mabs.
Mabs. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay, got it. Okay,
maps.
yep, yep, yep,
Yeah,
yep.
you hear a lot about maps, and you hear so much about maps, you would think that it's a club. Maps is literally it's a restaurant. And it's an outdoor restaurant. It's not an indoor restaurant. Well,
Okay.
they do have a small indoor section that they almost never let nobody in. It's an
Hmm.
outdoor restaurant,
Yeah.
but at this outdoor restaurant with the tent over it, that's where a lot of the ladies of the night they prowl around you. Literally, it's the weirdest thing, right? But it's the culture. While you out there eating, and they bring the big TV outside. Everything is weird. Everything, big giant like 100 inch TV outside. You're out there eating. They got the music blasting. You're under the tent. You're eating. You're ordering your food and your drinks, and then you have the ladies circling around you trying to get chose. Sometimes they get brave and bold and they come up to you, tap you on the shoulder, and ask to sit down. So while you're there eating your food, you can also take your pick. You can look at the wares and take your pick. That's a restaurant. Now, right down the street from the restaurant, not even 2 blocks, is the one of the main clubs everybody go to called Dos Vita. And
Yes.
so a lot of the
Dolce
girls
Vita, right?
they walk back and forth from the Dos Vita to the Mavs restaurant. They walk back and forth, and this is literally right across the beach, the street from the beach.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Now, what kind of music are they playing like in the club? Like I'm Caribbean, so I like my Afro beats. I like my dance hall. I love my hip hop. I don't mind, I like reggaeton too. But like I gotta, like, I can't hear like the salsa or like techno or EDM. I can't do that all night. Like it don't even matter how lit I am. Like I gotta be able to dance and vibe. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah. So like,
But
what
like I
kind of
said, so more so in Dos Vita, right there by the beach where everybody go to, they're pretty much smart enough to play a lot of music that Americans like, and so
okay,
you're gonna get a heavy dose of hip hop, some R&B. Do they play any local music? That yeah, it's very heavily hip hop for the most part now.
okay.
But once you get away from Dos Vita and you start going into more localized clubs and bars,
Mm-hmm.
then that's when the music would tend to get more local. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I don't do a lot of clubs. The only clubs I really do would be Dos Vita, and it's
Mm-hmm.
this other club called Maseko. And Maseko is it's a club, and that club also has rooms upstairs for you to relax with the ladies. And
Understood.
yeah, not to go to sleep.
No,
Not
I got you.
to
I
go to
got
sleep.
you.
Yeah,
I got you.
rooms to relax with the ladies. But
Well,
it's a full
you laying
nightclub.
down either way, right?
Yeah, it's a full nightclub with a stage and a stripper pole, music blasting, a bar, full nightclub with
Mm-hmm.
rooms upstairs. Maseko. So that's really only the two clubs I really go to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also but I know of the other local clubs and smaller bars.
Mm-hmm.
They play like whatever. Like I say, I'm not the biggest club person per se. When I
Yeah.
normally do the clubs, it's I'm traveling with the guys, I'm traveling with the wolf pack, I'm traveling,
Right. Right. Right.
and they want to go out. So if they
Right.
want to go out, hey, we go out. Left to my own devices, I'm not the biggest club man. You know,
Okay. Gotcha.
when I go to these countries, Big Boss goes to bust it up.
Gotcha. Understood. Understood, man. Understood. Okay, man. So, uh, Thailand is number one. Brazil is number two.
A close number two.
A close number two. So, okay. So you might have like a 1A, 1B type of thing going on there.
I pretty much do. That's actually
Okay.
more accurate. It's a
Okay.
1A, 1B.
Okay. All right. Now you mentioned that I think you said you went to Dominican Republic 3 times, right?
4, I
Oh,
believe.
4. Okay. You went to okay. What parts of Dominican Republic have you been to?
I really only been to 3 parts. The main part I always pretty much go to is the North Coast, Sasua.
Mm-hmm.
Sasua is a beach area. It's a beach town. It's
Mm-hmm.
a beach town, but also a red light district. So it's a red light beach town, Sasua on the North Coast.
Got it.
I also been to Santiago, which is
Mm-hmm.
like midway through the island. Smaller city. I've been to Santiago, and I've been to the capital city, Santo Domingo. That's on the
Mm-hmm.
south side of the island. I only been to Santo Domingo once. I've been to Santiago twice, and pretty much all my trips have been to the North Coast. Even the one time that I went to Santo Domingo, I stayed for a few days and I made my way up to Sasua. So it's never been a trip that I went to the DR and not went to Sasua.
I got it. Got it. Got it. Okay. So, so Sasua is your favorite place in DR. So what is it about Sasua besides the daycare workers that make you like it? Is there anything else, or is it just pretty much the daycare workers?
It's yeah, it's that the only other thing would be the beach environment.
Okay.
And I said this before on my channel. When the guys are in Sasua, when all the guys are there, I love the camaraderie. It's
Mm-hmm.
a perfect environment because you're there by the beach. You and
Mm-hmm.
your guys, you guys can cool at the beach, or if one of the guys have a villa, or even some of the spots around there. It's a perfect meeting environment to chill with your homeboys, with your bros. You have the weather, you have the scenery. So it's real good vibes, it's real good camaraderie vibes in Sasua.
Yeah.
Um, that's second to none, I would say.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, there's a content creator. I'm not sure if you've heard of him. It goes by he has a brand and they do like parties like in Dominican Republic, and it looks like they're gonna be doing. They did something in Brazil, and they're doing something in Cartagena called Paradise Life.
Yeah, I know about it. Yeah, I know about the brand. I know one part of it is Flip Flop Greg Flip Flop, I
Yeah,
believe.
so yeah,
Paradise
so
Life.
yeah, so shout out to Flip Flop. I'm actually gonna be doing a collab with him soon. Actually just spoke to him earlier today.
Cool,
Shout out to
cool.
Felicia. She's the one who put me on to Flip Flop. So
Okay, that's what's up. Shout out to Felicia, Felicia
yeah, so
Jordan.
I was like, all right, I see Paradise Life. I think we got some things in common due to the fact that like I've did events. I haven't done anything international, but like I like how like he has the brand and how they're like do how like they just came back from Brazil, and then they're going to Cartagena, and I think in like 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks, something like that. But it's gonna be cool. So I wasn't sure like if you guys have ran into each other because
Of course.
I know he has a bar out there. Okay.
hmm Yeah, I know him. Been to his bar and all that. We haven't did a collab yet. I'm sure that'll be in the works. But yeah, shout out to Flip Flop.
Oh man, yeah, that's great, man. That's great. Yeah, I haven't been to Sosua either. I haven't been to
Oh,
Sosua either, man.
oh
No,
wow,
no.
wow.
So the only place in Dominican Republic that I have been to is Punta Cana, and
Mm,
I know that I think I think I was speaking with you, and I was trying to tell you the club that I have went to with my friend where it ended at like 5 in the morning. It's called Legacies. So
okay.
Legacies in Punta Cana, like that club is off the hook. I know you're not a club guy, but
Well, I
you
can
have
be. I can be if I'm in the right
yeah, they
situation
got
with the
they
guys.
got they got. I mean, they got regular. They got daycares. They got GFEs. So right. So you got a nice buffet over there. But anybody that does go to Punta Cana, um, you know, that's where you want to go. You want to go to Legacies, and I know Punta Cana is probably more of a family thing or whatever. But my friend and I, we were in a resort, so we
Yeah,
left the resort. We left the resort,
yeah.
went to Legacies, and it was dope. But the resort was good too. Let's just say that.
Okay, I
All
like that.
right. Absolutely, absolutely. So last but not least, Colombia. So I have been to Colombia. I wanted to save this for last because I
Okay,
can speak to it. So now what how many times have you been to Colombia?
3 times.
Okay, and where in Colombia have you been?
Medellin once and Bogota twice.
Okay. So I have not been to Bogota. So all right, so let's start with Bogota. Like did you like it? Did you like it? And then if so, what are the things that you liked about it? And just kind of speak to it.
Yeah, so Bogota, Bogota is actually the capital of Colombia. A lot of
Yeah.
people think Medellin is because Medellin gets all the fanfare, but the
Right.
capital is actually Bogota.
Right.
But when I go to Bogota, Colombia, I go to this a particular spot called Santa Fe. And
Mm,
so Santa Fe is basically a small area. It's a little ran down, and that area is probably not for everybody. It's kind of like a local hood type area,
mm,
that could be considered kind of seedy and grimy, but the area that's where you can get a lot of deals. And so when I travel, that's mostly the main reason I travel for. And so I'm just gravitated towards there. What made me go? I'm trying to remember what originally made me go. Can't well it probably just being in a travel group. So one of the benefit in being in a travel groups, you get exposed to a lot of possible places to go to well before you go because somebody within all these groups, somebody then been everywhere. And
yeah.
so over time, they're going to be sharing information, videos, photos, info. And so you can be like, oh, word? Really? Yeah, man, you need to
Yeah.
go here. Now, mind you, a lot of that is subjective to the person, right? So
Mhm.
even if somebody goes and share the information and share their experience, when you go, it might not be the exact same experience. It might be greater or lesser, but at least it's on your radar now. It might be whole other spots you wasn't even aware of, and somebody in the group, hey man, I just got back from XYZ. Oh, word. I didn't really know about it. Oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I want to say that's how I really got put on to the Santa Fe area. But man, when I went, I was blown away. So it's not for everybody. So, and that's really the only spot I go to when I'm in Bogota. I go to Bogota, I'll go right to the Santa Fe area. And Santa Fe area would be similar to Sasua and DR, but without the beach. And it'd be similar to a part in Brazil that I didn't quite speak of called Villa Mimosa. Villa Mimosa in Brazil, in Rio. These type areas are kind of, they're red light and they're kind of seedy and a little grimy, but you get good deals and whatnot. And to be honest, that's the kind of traveler I am for the most part, especially left to my own devices. Normally, but when I travel with a group, it's a thing of group dynamics that I'm a Morpheus. I can flow with the group whatever way the group wants to go. The group wants to go to the beach. The group wants to go to this nightclub. The group wants to go here to this restaurant. I can do a lot of that. But if you leave Big Boss alone to my own devices, Big Boss will find his way to the most tedious area. To bust it up.
Right. So now, like, would you recommend a traveler? Because you said it's kind of like a seedy area.
Yeah.
Like, is it okay, like, for a traveler to be alone, or should you have like kind of like a wolf pack with you?
Yeah. It's definitely not recommended to be alone and a wolf pack, but you got to know how to act. So that's not for everybody. You asked me the question, so I answered it. But just because Big Boss go there, that's one of the few things I could say. Don't try this at home, kids, because that it is a cartel controlled area, and it's you do have to be on your P's and Q's. And unfortunately, a lot of Negroes don't know how to act when they go on vacation. They act like Pookies and Ray Rays.
No boy.
If you act like a Pookie and a Ray Ray in that area, that could be your ass. So
yeah.
So yeah, you have to. I would say before you go there, you would have to be under the guidance of somebody in a brotherhood or one of these travel groups, so you can be taught the do's and the don'ts. Right. That one is kind of not for everybody. But you asked me a question, so I told you.
No, absolutely, man. Yeah. So my bro, Los, Crypto King is out there, man. So shout out to Los. So I would say, for anybody that's going to Bogota, definitely hit him up. Yeah, definitely hit him up, because I haven't been to Bogota yet, but like I'm planning on going there this year, so I'm gonna hit him up and put see what's going on out there, man. So
Bogota is a must. It's a must to network and hit somebody up. That is not a place I say just go nilly-willy off the plane. Just because you watched a couple of YouTube videos and you go by yourself and get off the plane and walk in there nilly-willy, Big Boss would suggest don't do it.
Yeah. Now, have you been to any nightclubs in Bogota?
Oh yeah, well, yes, and well, if you want to call them as such, but yeah, in the Santa Fe area, there are nightclubs. There are nightclubs. There's bars. It's its own little self-contained thing. Right. It's the weirdest thing. So yeah, so I've been to nightclubs in the Santa Fe area. Okay. One particular nightclub, I believe, I'll probably mess up the name, so I won't say the name. I'll mess it up. But I have a guy down there. I have I can call a friend, I would suppose, or an associate. A white guy down there from Chicago. I call him Chicago Carl. He co-owns and co-manages a nightclub down there. So that's the main one I frequent. But when I'm down there, he'll take me to other nightclubs. And when I was down there with a guy from our travel group, JJ, shout out to JJ. We went into a few nightclubs and a few bars. So that whole area is like a more ghetto version, if you can believe it, a more ghetto version of Pattaya. You know, a strip of like clubs and bars. You know, it's crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I'm intrigued to see it. I'm really intrigued to see it, man. Really intrigued to see it. All right. So, Medellin. You
Oh
went
my
to
goodness.
Medellin. All right. So here's the thing. Boss and I typically agree on mostly everything. This one, I cannot believe this. Why the thumbs down on Medellin?
Uh, to be honest, one of the biggest reasons the thumb down is you know, not to be a contrarian,
Mm-hmm.
because so many people praise the thumbs up. When I went, it was average at best in my KS voice.
Really?
I can't really say it's trash. I can't say it's trash. That would be wrong, and it's not, right? It's better than trash, obviously, but it is barely average, barely passable. It gets a C, C minus, or maybe just a plain C. And then for everybody to just hype it, I'm like, what? What
So
is
you
going
were
on here?
underwhelmed.
Yeah, you know, and so that's what it is. Maybe it's the expectations, you know, like a lot of people have with these movies, especially with comic book adapted movies or whatnot. You have the high expectations, and you go see the movie, and the movie could be a decent movie. It could be an okay, average, standard movie.
Mm-hmm.
But man, maybe you shouldn't have called it. It shouldn't have been based on this character. Just call the movie regular movie. Don't call it
Right.
this. Because now
Right.
when you call it this, now I'm expecting this. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody that's praise heap on Medellin, and I went, I'm like, really? This?
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So I can't say it's trash, but I didn't care for it too much. Now, part of it was I can realize the timing I picked. I got rained out on most of the trip. It was raining and thundering and lightning.
Oh wow.
At least
Yeah.
half the trip, like thunder, like and lightning that struck, and it'll light up the inside of my Airbnb. Just heavy, like downpour of
Yeah.
rain,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I'm basically trapped in my hotel. And now when I'm trying to call daycare workers to come over, text daycare workers, they don't want to come out because of the rain. So now I'm paying all this money, and I'm over there. I'm in my hotel room. Good thing, you know, I brought my laptop to play some video games while I'm in Medellin, I guess, whatever. And then outside of that, that's one of the few trips I did straight solo bolo, just all on my own. I got off the plane, just went all on my own because I heard all these great things. Everybody talk about Medellin. So hey, I need to see what's here. I went all on my own. I went out there. So being I was by myself on my own, I'm sure I know there's a lot of things I didn't do. There's a lot of steps that I missed because I was out there on my own without a whole lot of guidance. But of course, I did like the main. I went to the main daycare nursery, which is a New Life nursery with the blue door. Obviously, I went there, and it was deals to be had there, obviously. And then you know, I went to the park area, the Park La Aris area.
Parque Lettuce.
Park Lettuce. Yeah, matter of fact, where I stayed was literally around the corner. It was like 3 blocks away. I purposely stayed there so I can be close to the park.
Oh, you might have been in El Poblado.
Yeah, the tower, the El Poblado Tower.
Okay, okay. So you were in El Poblado. Okay.
Yeah, I stayed there. You know, I did some research, you know, so I tried to. Now, towards the end of my trip, believe like the last day or so, I hooked up with a guy who used to be in my travel groups, a YouTuber, Worldly Traveler, Nick, who lives out there off and on for months at a time. And he took me to the El Centro area, which is more my style. I'm like, man, I should have found this on my first day.
But the blue doors in El Centro.
Yeah. I guess it is not too far from the El Central area. The blue door.
But he brought you like deep into El Centro, you mean, probably, right?
Yeah, just
okay.
Yeah, like so where the park where they have the statues, the funny shaped statues.
Yeah.
Yes, in that area, and then you start walking down some real seedy type areas.
Oh yeah. That's you were definitely central. Yeah, like they got the you gotta make sure that you got your wallet, all of that
Yeah,
protected.
yeah. So you took me there. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. I said, now that's my type of area.
Right.
I said I should have came here my first day. That might have gave me a different perspective. But it was too little, too late. I think that was like my last day, or I think that was my last full day of the trip, and I was leaving the next day after being reined in, after dealing with the park and hearing quotes from the park. I wasn't liking the quotes I was getting from the park area. I had daycare workers switching up fees and numbers on me. They agree to one thing and then switch up on another thing. A lot of that going on. Like I said, I was there by myself for the most part. I did link up with a guy in my travel group who also happened to be there. We linked up like a couple of days in. He was there with he was there with his brother, his younger brother, and his best friend. And those three guys, they had a shared Airbnb together with a jacuzzi, and their trip was lit. Now, I wish I had their trip because, like I say, we're actually we're in the same travel group. So they sharing footage to the group. I'm in a group, so I'm seeing the footage, in real time.
Right.
I'm in my apartment by myself, being rained out. This guy is with his brother and his best friend in an Airbnb with a jacuzzi with some of the daycare workers from the Blue Door. Some of the daycare workers from the Blue Door is over at their place, and I'm in his trip was lit. So maybe if I had his trip, I have a better experience. So yeah, the whole experience is underwhelming. The thing that really saved that trip to me was one Venezuelan daycare worker, man. Shout out to Venezuela. And that really endeared me to Venezuelans. And since that trip, in other countries, I always tend to lean towards the Venezuelan workers, and they are some of the best. And incidentally, in Bogota, I talked about in the Bogota, Santa Fe, there's a large population of Venezuelans in that area because I guess that's, they come over from Venezuela, and that's a big place they can really be at is in that Santa Fe area. Right. So that probably plays into it too. But
yeah. Absolutely. Well, I got a spot there, man. So whenever, man, let me know. All you got to do is just hit up Kings and Dreams and just say, "Hey, big boss, I want to take that flight. Let's go." We'll make it happen.
I might do that because you know what I always say, man, I'm down to give Medellin another try. One, because I'm not a quitter. I'll try again at least a few times, right? And I realized, being self-reflective, I realized, that was my first trip. Like sometimes it takes 2 or 3 trips to open up a place. And on my first trip, I realized there was a lot of missteps I did. I went mostly by myself. So it's a lot of things I didn't know. And I have to take that in consideration. And accountability, there's things I didn't know. I went I went by myself on my very first trip. So I'm open to do a redo.
Yeah, redo. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. Because
as it stands, if I never did the redo based on that trip, it's actually one of my it finally got surpassed by being my worst trip. My worst trip was the one I just did to Mexico. It finally dethroned.
Yeah. So I was gonna lead into that, right? So Mexico. Now Mexico. now let's talk about the places in Mexico that you have been to. We'll save Quintana Roo for last.
Okay.
Because I have something else I kind of wanted to get into after that. But okay, so what places in Mexico have you been to?
TJ.
Okay, so that's Tijuana, right?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Yep.
Outside of that, it's the other places you said to wait. So before those places, it was only TJ. To me, Mexico was always Tijuana. I never went past Tijuana until recently.
Okay. Now besides like daycare workers, was there anything else like in Tijuana that you liked, like the scenery or anything like that, or was it just strictly daycare workers? That's it.
Yeah, it's nothing there for me really to like. Because any food there, I'm here in California, right? It's not that far. Even though
Right.
even though I'm the Bay Area and not the Los Angeles, Southern California, I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm here in the Bay Area, California. So we have pretty much the same food, minus some of the seasoning.
Okay.
So outside of that, no.
Right.
I like I say, in most cases, I travel for a specific reason when I travel. I don't really travel for a lot of other extraneous. I don't travel for food. I don't travel for beaches. I don't travel. So when I travel for a certain reason, and
Hmm.
so to me, the country will stand or fall on that aspect. And if
Okay.
it doesn't have that aspect, then I can't give it a thumbs up. I don't care if other aspects are good. That might be great for other people, but that's not enough for me. For me,
Right.
I have to have that added aspect.
Right.
So
Okay.
no.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um. All right. So Quintana Roo, Cancun, Tulum, Playa del Carmen. All right. Now, last week you did I think you did almost a 6 hour live. Uh, this this guy is talented because I don't know if I could do a 6 hour live. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know if I could do that. I think maybe I could probably do 1 to 2 hours, maybe 2 2.5, and that's it. But you did 5 by yourself.
Well, it wasn't almost. It started by myself mostly.
Yeah,
I think the last hour or so. Shout out again to Richie Mack.
yeah.
Richie
Richie
Mack
Mack had
pulled
pulled
up.
up.
He
Yeah,
pulled up.
well, it was so funny because like I saw you on there, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sleep. So I fall asleep, take a nap. I wake up, do a little workout, and on the YouTube it shows like the dot, like showing like still live. I said, no, I refreshed it just to make sure. I refreshed it. I go look. Oh, he's with Zoom to Thailand. And I'm like, oh. I start bombing the chat and all
You
that.
show
So I'm
you
like,
really did, man.
yeah, I'm like, hold up. I'm like, hey, listen, I got to make a play right now because
Smart,
yeah,
tactical, smart.
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, but so Quintana Roo, Tulum, Playa del Carmen, Cancun. All right, so speak on it from your point of view.
Uh, Beautiful weather, hot beach environment,
Hmm.
good food, good vibes, a lot of scenery. And the scenery for the women is normally going to be from the tourist women.
Hmm.
Um, a lot of the local women I saw were a little underwhelming.
Yep.
But what made up for it was all the tourist women because that whole Cancun, Tulum, Mexico Beach area is a
Hmm.
big tourist area, and it brings some of everybody out all over the world to Cancun. So
Right.
it's a lot of beautiful ladies on vacation.
Hmm.
So it's a lot of eye candy. So it's a lot of beautiful ladies on vacation, eye candy, good weather, good food, good vibes. So I went down there with the YouTuber Flyboy Way. I know you probably never heard of him, right? I went out there
Yep.
with him to do a collab, and that was great. I learned a lot from Flyboy, and we had a good time hanging out, camaraderie, networking, collabing, going to the bars, going to the clubs, looking at the sites, eating the food. So that experience was all great.
Yeah.
But conjunction but. And you know what they say when you say the conjunction but? When you say but, it negates everything in front of it.
Right.
You can say whatever you want to say, but once you put a but, that but negates everything in front of it.
Hmm.
But boss could not bust it up in any meaningful way. So yeah, I was able to do a 1 and 2. I was able to do two things out there. I was able to do two things, but those two things costed too much money for the quality it was. And so I overpaid. Boss overpaid for the quality I got. I paid a high price for minimal quality twice. And that was the best I could do at the time, or the best I was willing to do at the time, because anything better would have cost even more. And so at that point, it would be off the table. So to keep it within my orbit, which was the max, of my orbit, was low quality. I'm like, wow. And that was the best I can do. And out of 4 days, only twice out of 4 days. That's unacceptable. So, but if you're not going there for that, and you're going for the food, you're going for the culture, you're going for the weather, you're going with your homeboys, or you know what I'm saying, it can be a good trip. But if you're a single man, and you're going for a certain purpose, it's not the best, unless you're willing to spend a lot of money or just get lucky. I mean, you could get lucky because, again, there's a lot of tourists. So you have to get lucky with the tourist ladies. But as we know, women, when they travel on travels, right? Women don't travel alone. Women travel in groups and packs. And that's all I saw. So what I saw in country was a lot of women with their boyfriends. Or if the women wasn't with their boyfriends, the women were in packs.
Yep.
So now you're by yourself trying to holler at a woman in a pack and separate her from a pack.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2020, Flyboy and I have went to Quintana Roo. We went to so we stayed in Cancun. We stayed in the hotel zone, and right across the street, like we were right next to Coco Cabana, the club.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh no, Coco Bongo. Yeah, Coco Bongo. I meant. Sorry about that. Coco Bongo. So we were literally right next to there, and directly across the street, they had like they had like this side street where they had like bars, restaurants. You could get food. They also had exotic nightclubs and stuff like that. So anyway, in that strip, that section, that part was lit. Like I think like the first couple of days, we were in that area. Shout out to Barber World TV because he was also there with us as well.
Okay.
Trying to think any other content creators. No, I would just say just Barber World TV. That was really cool. But then we went to Isla Mujeres. We stayed in a hostel, but it was more of a like upscale-ish type of hostel, because Flyboy had his own room, Barber World had his own room, I had my own room, like king size bed, had a bottle of wine, own shower. Like it was nice. It was like a hotel.
Basically.
And but the thing is, like in the hostel, like I don't think like anybody in there was Mexican. Like they had some people there. Most of the people there were from like Argentina, and then you had some people there from the States. So like that was cool. Then after that, then we went to Playa del Carmen, and so our boy BG, he's not a content creator, but he's from the States, from Boston, has boots on the ground there. So we all, he took us like bar hopping. We all went out. We went to I forget the name of this one bar, but after that, then we went to a Tequila Barrel. But we went to this one bar. It was before we went to Tequila Barrel. Just hopping around and stuff like that. But the cool thing about it is that like BG, like he knew so many people, and he had girls like who he was friends with. So like from the States, so they were hanging out with us. his boys were, his boys were there with us. So basically, we were like 20, we were like 20 deep.
Ooh.
So we were able, so we were able to have like the guys from the wolf pack, and how you mentioned like girls would, either be with their boyfriends, but the girls who weren't with their boyfriends, it's usually like 4 to 5 of them in a group. But okay, let's just round it up to 3 to 5, 3 to 5 in a group, right?
That's about right.
So they're broken up in different sections. So like Fly would see, some girls over there. So he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go over here and start talking to these girls. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go on the other side and start talking to these girls. So we were able like to kind of maneuver everything around. Like it was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Then the following year, I actually went by myself, and then shout out to Social Light Skin. He's actually going to be starting his page soon.
Okay.
And so it had him and BG. So now they have an even bigger crew, because Social Light Skin, like when you say social, like he's really social, has the gift of gab. So he's talking to all these pockets of girls around the club. He speaks fluent Spanish, everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he speaks fluent Spanish and everything, right? So basically, so he's like, get it. So he's like, yo, this is my boy, Kings and Dreams, whatever, right? Moves on, start talking to another group of girls. So I'm talking, moving around, so I'm able to, spit game. Shout out to QB. This is game. Right? So I'm
shout out to QB Passport Flexing, man.
so I'm able to run game, and and with all of that, like still got the wolf pack with me, so they know I'm not by myself.
Right.
I was, so I was able to make something happen. We were all able to make something happen.
Nice.
Yeah. So thanks. long-winded, but the thing about it is that like if you don't have boots on the ground for these areas, it's going to be a bit of a challenge to get something, because the local women are not that attractive.
No.
It's the nomads or the expats that are the attractive ones. So, and like they know, because like they'll know like who's around, because if they haven't seen you, so they're gonna be like, oh, so you're only there for like a few days, so you think that you're gonna pass and dash, right? So you gotta, like, if you know somebody like that got, if you know somebody that got boots on the ground, it's cool. And because like sometimes some women don't want to feel like they're being used, exactly, used. Yes, yeah.
Even though it should be a fair exchange of energy, but
right, exactly, yeah. But I would say like for the experience that you're looking for, Katana Roo is not a place for you.
Thank you. Now,
yeah,
it's all good. I went down there, so I went down so I can collab with Flyboy.
Yeah,
and that was done. That mission accomplished on that.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely.
It is what it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as long as you're able to get something out of the trip, right? I was supposed to go on the trip, but like my son had school vacation and I completely forgot about it. So I was like, oh, well, I'm not going. But I would not have missed Brazil. I just would have had to make that. I just would have had to make some type of arrangement.
Yeah. Hey, son, I love you, son, but I gotta go to Brazil. See you later. I hope you're okay when I get back. Now, shout out to your son, man.
Right, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, man. All right. So we talked about all of these places. One of the things, even in the conversation yesterday, we talk about Venezuelan women, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a big Venezuelan population in Colombia. There's a big Venezuelan population starting to become in Dominican Republic too. Yes. Let's see. Shout out to KPR. Actually got on his live earlier today, and he had mentioned again that there was a big Venezuelan population in Trinidad, which is interesting.
Right.
So, like, a lot of the Venezuelans are taking over Central South America and now into the Caribbean. So, how do you feel about that? And what do you think is so? What do you think is gonna transpire? I'm trying to figure out how I want to ask this question. Well, let me ask you this. So, what do you think about that? First of all, with the Venezuelan population really taking over Latin America.
Hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. They need to be taken over. Uh, Competition is good.
Okay.
So that's how I view it.
Okay.
I'm very favorable for Venezuelans. Uh, they're very fair in their pricing. They treat you well,
Yeah.
and maybe that's because unfortunately what their country is going through.
Right.
As the population, as they move around, they realize that they're guests in these other countries. So even if they wanted to be on some bougie type stuff, they realize they're guests in these other countries. So maybe that humbles them. I don't know. But at the end of the day, almost all my interactions with Venezuelans in different countries, right? In different countries, it's been pretty much consistent every time I deal with Venezuelans.
Right.
Yeah, so very favorable. And so normally what'll happen when the Venezuelans move in, because on average, they look good. You're talking about the women portion, they look good and things like that. And for their time and services, the P4P is normally going to be a little cheaper than wherever they're at. They can come in and really upset the markets where they at. So I'm all for it.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of led into the question I was going to ask you. So because I've spoken to some females that I know that I'm friends with, just friends, nothing else. No, seriously, nothing else. But they're
She's just a friend.
so
R.I.P. to Biz Marquis.
yeah, Biz Marquis, man. Right. So they've said that they feel away, like the Colombians.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have one daycare worker, like like anybody who comes to Medellin like would definitely like her. Like she's really really nice. Like nice. Okay. And just want to emphasize on that. But on a serious note, she's saying that like she is upset because they're undercutting their business.
Good. It need to be undercut.
Yeah.
It needs to be undercut. Good.
Okay.
Competition is good.
All right. Now now outside of the Matrix, do you think that if a man met a woman outside of the Matrix,
Mm-hmm.
fell in love, wanted to have children, and so on and so forth,
Hmm.
should he move this woman into the Matrix?
No, not at all.
Definitive no.
No,
Okay.
not at all. Negative. That'd be the wrong move. If that's the case, if everything you said above and beyond, and you fell in love and you want to start a family and all this and that and the third, do it over there. Don't bring her here to the Matrix. No.
What if he couldn't move over there? Couldn't move out the Matrix yet.
Long distance then he'll just have to she still stay over there. And as many times as a year he can go over there. He go over there 3, 4, 5, 6 times a year, every other month, every 2, 3 months. Don't bring her over here still. And then if you can't do that, then you also have to look at certain things are prerequisites, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that was the case, I'm not saying if you can't move over there yet. If you can't, you can't. But if you can't move over there full time, then maybe if you go every other month, every 5 or 6 weeks, you go over there.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't do that, if you can't go 3-4 times a year, then maybe you should be trying to marry anyway. So those things are called priorities.
Right.
You can
I
want
agree.
what you want, but is your pockets like that? Is your money like that? Is your
Mm-hmm.
finances like that? Maybe you need to work on your finances first when you're trying to worry about a wife.
Right.
If you want a wife and kids, you got to work on your money. Get your finances up first.
Right. Exactly.
And then if you're going to do it overseas, you're going to need actually more finances. So therefore, that should drive your inner self to make more and do more. So there's certain things called priorities first.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. You know, one of the things is that woman costs money. No
Yes.
matter what,
No
woman
matter
costs
what,
money.
it costs money.
And if you want to have a family and
That
you want
costs
to,
money.
yeah, right, that costs money too. So I definitely do not agree with moving a woman outside of the matrix over here. Now, I do have a friend. He lives in Texas. He's not a consecrated or anything like that. You know, he moved his wife over here from Costa Rica.
Mm.
Now, she doesn't speak any English. She's going to be a homemaker, so she's just pretty much a stay at home wife. He doesn't really, and he said that he doesn't really want to teach her English. I understand why. I
Smart.
understand why. I understand
Smart.
why. I understand
Yeah.
why.
Exactly.
But yeah. So I mean, it seems to be working out well for him so far. So
How long has it been?
it's been three years.
Okay.
They have a child together.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been 3 years. So
He might be one of the lucky ones, and
right.
and you
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
be lucky.
There's always outliers for everything, right?
There's always outliers, but
Right.
we don't deal with the rare exceptions, so yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I said, it's going well for him, and that's cool.
Shout out to
But
him for now.
for now, right? Well, I haven't heard anything. Ever heard anything yet? So I'm hoping. Hold down the fort, my man. Hold down the fort.
And
All
I think
right. So
a
we are.
big part of that is because she don't know English yet, and he keeps her at home. That's a
Yep.
big. That's probably 70% of it.
Right.
And so it'll be interesting to see once she finally learns English and she gets out and about and starts socializing with other American women. Then it'll be very interesting to see which way that go.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, another thing is that he's from New York, so he doesn't know too many people in Texas either.
Okay.
So he has a pretty small circle. So that's good. Now, I think if he brought her to New York, or he's from New York and he has, friends and stuff like that, maybe, she would get around and maybe get around possibly the wrong influences. A shout out to Milano. He talked about that girl, moved over from Dominican Republic to I guess to
New York.
Manhattan, but I'm assuming he probably talking about like Washington Heights, because we
Mhm.
don't just say Manhattan. Like
Okay.
New Yorkers don't say like Manhattan. We say like the Heights, or
Heights.
Harlem, or
Okay.
Upper West Side. Like we say like a section. We don't say, oh yeah, we live in Manhattan. No, that's
Manhattan.
yeah, no, yeah. But anyway, yeah, she's probably from Washington Heights or something like that. But anyway, yeah, came over here to the Matrix. Got overweight, and she think that her stuff don't stink, which is crazy.
This is crazy.
So we're over the 2 hour mark, man. So I had a couple of
We can
had a couple of.
keep going, bro. As long as you got, we can keep going.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. All right. So now traveling overseas, and what would you say is the most important thing for men when they are traveling overseas?
Safety. Safety first.
Mm-hmm.
Being aware of your surroundings. You know, keeping a sober mind, um, you know, moving correctly. I would have to say the most important thing is your personal safety, and to make it back to the airport and leave on the plane back to the States. Number one is your safety. Number one, that's the most important thing. And so into that, you know, wherever you're gonna stay, whether it's a hotel or it's an Airbnb. You know, I'm a hotel guy, but they do have some Airbnbs that are kind of set up like a hotel, or they have Airbnbs that might have a doorman, a security guard, or a front desk. You kind of always want that, because when you're staying in your hotel or Airbnb, of course you're going to have company. You're going to have female company come over, and if you're having these the local females come over into your place, you're going to want to make sure the place is secure. So you're looking out for your safety. When you're out and about, you know, you want to be aware of things. You know, I would say don't go overly dressed up and flaunting wealth. Yeah, we know you're an American. We know you have money to travel, but it's not necessary for you to wear jewelry, expensive watches, and very expensive name brand type clothes. Be low key, nondescript. Just enjoy yourself, enjoy the moment. You don't have to show and flash wealth in a lot of these countries. Um, because then a lot of times you can make yourself a target if you're showing a lot of wealth and jewelry. You don't need to do that. Just be low key. Just enjoy yourself. Just be aware of your surroundings. Stay somewhere that's secure. That's some of the bigger things I would say that's important.
Right. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And one of the things that I would add to that is just making sure that, you know, when you are going out there, if you are traveling by yourself, um, make sure that, like, it's an area that you can at least be around. If you don't have a doorman, be around, like, where you know there's going to be a large police presence. Um, Even if, like, you look online and the area they say that the area is safe, you're still you still can be targeted.
Of course.
So the thing about it is that outside of the United States, like, if you're traveling, like, to Latin America or Southeast Asia, you got to remember, like, you know, like, some of these countries are third world countries, so
Exactly.
they they you know they want our money, they want our resources. So you gotta be careful. You gotta definitely be careful. Be you know be polite, be respectful. Don't try to draw too much attention to yourself. You're already gonna draw attention to yourself, especially, well, you know, depending on how you look, but
Right.
like, yeah, like like I know, well, I think Boss we 6'3", 6'2".
6'2".
Okay, yeah. So we're both 6'2", like 6'2" in Thailand, we stand out.
Right.
So,
Well, in Thailand, oh, we're gonna stand out because it is. You
well,
know.
yeah, right,
Right.
yeah. But you know what I meant. Like,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
even in Colombia, like, I don't really think most of the men are really tall over there anyway.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're gonna stand out. Just don't draw too much attention to yourself. Um, you can have fun. You know, you can turn up. I would say with the jewelry, just be careful with it. I have gone out with jewelry, but I've also made sure that I have my wolf pack with me. So I'm not wearing like a big chain, but I wear like a nice watch, you know. But again, this is just me. I'm
Yeah.
not recommending anybody to do that,
Right.
you know. But just don't go out there, like, you know, just don't go out there flexing and you know, making them, like, feel, you know, any worse than they probably already do.
Exactly. Right. And
Yeah. So
definitely don't make it rain. Now, don't go overboard and you get out to some of the nightclubs out there around the women, you're inside the nightclub and you take out a lot of money, a lot of ones, and you start making it rain like you're in an Atlanta nightclub. It's not America. It's not America. It's not even American culture. Don't bring that American culture out there in a nightclub, throwing money in the air and making it rain. Do not do that.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, if you could use your card to pay for the bottles, do that. Do
That's
that.
the best thing.
They don't see, yeah, like the only money should really be is if you, like, buying food on the street, or if you getting that daycare worker or
Getting a
something like that.
daycare service, getting a
Yeah.
massage.
Right.
Paying for a massage or buying street vendors type stuff.
Right,
As much as
exactly.
you can, try to use plastic as much as you can.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Big boss. All right. So, what is next for your channel?
Next for my channel is I need to get back to doing more my edited videos. Shout out to my moderator T Love. He also helps me on content strategy, and he calls edited video. He calls them packages. I like that term. I don't know why he call them packages, but he said, "Boss, you need to get back to doing more packages." It's like ever since you start doing these lives, you do more live streams than packages. So yeah, I need to get back to doing packages or my edited videos. I'm gonna start doing more collabs on other people's channels. Of course, I'm gonna keep my Saturday Night Live going. I'm gonna have people on my channel. Of course, you're a friend of the channel. You're gonna be on the channel as much as you possibly can or whatever. But I'm also gonna start appearing on other people's channels and getting back to making more edited type videos and things of that nature. Yeah, that's it for the most part for right now. I'm still kind of reworking my content strategy going into the future. But for right now, to answer your question, to focus more on edited videos per topic and collabing on other people's channels. And I plan to go out in the community where I'm out here in Oakland, in the community, and do some things in the community and put that on tape and record that or whatnot.
Nice. Putting boots on the ground.
Oh yeah. That's always kind of been in the back of my mind to do. So in the next few coming weeks or a month or so, look to really see that more Big Boss out and about interacting with people in the community more too.
Nice. That's great, man. That's great, man. Yeah, man. I just want to say, man, before I give you the last word, just thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your channel. For those who don't know, he actually had no other way around. Flyboy had Big Boss on his channel. It was I think it was the pregame to Quintana Roo, Mexico, and I happened to just be in the chat, and he said something about Red Pill, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh, he's Red Pill, okay." And then he's like, "Yeah, I'm about to get off and then go live on my channel." So I leave Flyboy's channel, and he gets on live. So I'm like, "Yeah," I'm like, "All right, Red Pill, okay, what's up? Let's talk." So drops the link maybe like 20 minutes later, and then here we are.
The rest is history, huh?
Right.
Yeah. So shout out to Flyboy, man. The Flyboy way,
man. Absolutely, man.
That's how I met you. I met you on the Flyboy's channel in his chat.
Yes, sir, man. Absolutely, man. So what's the last word for you, man? We talked about a lot of things in this conversation, man. So, any last words for you on this?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of last words, man. Well, first off, thank you for having me on your channel. I know your channel is going to grow. you're very competent. You're very sharp. I like the way that you do your social media game, your Instagram game. I really like that. How you mirror your YouTube content on your Instagram and whatnot. I can learn from that. That's one of the things I have to get better at is incorporating other media to feed into the YouTube. So you seem to got that portion down, right? And you're doing everything very methodical. So shout out to you, and any
Appreciate
help
you.
no, it's all good. Any help I can give you, you know what I'm saying? I see already that you take some of the content when you appear on my channel. I already told you you can go ahead, especially for parts that you appear in, you can use those parts in your channel to boost your channel up. So it's all good. And I think more black content creators can come together and help. I had big YouTubers come on my channel before I had 1,000, and even now at 1,000, I had content creators that have 30,000, 40,000, 60,000 K subs come on my channel when I had 800 subs. So who am I, to act funny with my little 1,000 subs to go on somebody's channel and have 100 subs or 300 subs when I had 800 subs and I had somebody with 60K come on my channel. So I don't think it's about that. I think it's about helping each other, especially when you're black, man. We don't have a whole lot of resources anyway. So any little thing can help, and is no excuse. I mean, outside of time, which is very important because we all could be doing something with our time. Outside of time, it doesn't cost money to give somebody 45 minutes or 1 hour to appear on a channel if they're smaller than you or whatnot. So I think that in this space, in this YouTube space, in this black male YouTube space, we can do a better job of coming together, helping each other. And so that's what I'm about. That's what I want to do.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, man. I appreciate the opportunity for you letting me on your channel. As many times, and I just happen to just be. I'll just jump on. I'm like, oh, all right, yeah. I could get with this topic. I could get with this topic.
It's all good, and
man,
it's smart. It's smart for you because anytime you jump on the channel, if you appear on screen, you already know you can instantly just use that on your channel, repurpose it. So hey, it's all good, man. It all goes together, man. It's all good. It's all love.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. So, again, thank you for coming on and having this conversation with me. And the most important thing, men, is to. I always say, even if you don't call yourself red pilled, or you want to call yourself black pilled, and all these different type of pills, basically what it is that really just understand the reality of what's going on around you. Be the best version of yourself. Really understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life. Stay on your purpose. Don't get distracted by minuscule things, and there's always going to be women in your life. Chase the dream, not the dreamer. That's all I got to say. And I'll leave it at that.
Boom.
Big Boss, my guy. And stay purposeful, and we are out.
We are out. Peace.